Hello, my name is Sunina Bolton, and I'm in Dr. Hush, Hush, um, dealing with course of class, dealing with special education. Um, the title of my assignment that we are presenting is Evaluation Process Explainer. Um, I chose Taylor, who was one of the case study of her academics and stuff. So one of the questions they asked about Taylor is a common evaluation process components such as require collaboration with state services. Um, One of the things I look is that um, the RTI, which is response to intervention, and it's for Taylor. It's for as a together and renew data for her academics, and they also include university screening, progress monitoring, and intervent. And also, a parent has to be parent consent means like a parent written informed consent from parents before they even evaluate in the beginning. So, in dealing with the IEP development, if it founds eligibility for to develop was it individualized education um, program, which is the IEP. This the second question mentions about Taylor is explanation of why the child is being evaluated. Well, for one, the reason is to identify their learning disabilities, their behavior or development challenges, determine to ability eligibility for support services like for example special education, and it also specifies the child's strengths and weaknesses, provides data, which is of course with that with the IEP. The next one question is explanation of how the evaluation processes could potentially lead to a IEP. And with Taylor, the parent has a consent. The, the process has to begin after the parents give a written consent and with Taylor in all areas of suspected disability. Their comprehensive assessments tools are used to gather information about Taylor's academics, functional, and also her data. So with that, they have to, get all the information for her, what she is doing, what she needs, what is on there, so that way they could know whether she, you know, is on, have a disability. Number 4 says timeline for each step in evaluation on process. For Taylor, its performance is the evaluation, which is one, a referral or a consent, which a period of time to evaluation. The initial evaluation must be completed within 45 days of school. The parental consent is received after the IEP, which is Individual Educational Program, and the 504 meeting. The meeting is discusses the results of I'm sorry, the results of created a creative plan for her. Sorry. Number 5 also talks about resources related to an explanation or procedural safeguard. Um, the safeguard um, hold on, okay. It tells that the parental role, which is the parent's role, is are very if they're basically number one. I'll start over. If the student's parents, the parents are very active of their child's education, um, they are like involving in their studies, in their education. There is a decision reporting to the child's identification, evaluation, placement that develops with IEP. A dispute re- resolution, meaning parents have the right, if they do not want their child to do this in this area or something else, they do have rights. Parents have rights, to speak on their students' behalf. If they don't want their student to um, do that, then it's as teachers and education has to respect and right to do what the parents say. So that's another thing too that we have to be very mindful is respect the parents' rights. Number 6 says decision of how and whenever evaluation results will be reported. So I looked them here. For one, um, how to report using like various formats, like traditional written reports, um, or briefing, newsletters, presentations, set up websites, to do a report and collaborate as a conclusion um, with the report within the stakeholders defining development conclusion. Okay. I've mentioned also on 5 about the resources and stuff. There are resources that can be uh, for parents to use, and one is look up as State Department Education. They have great information of what the laws and rules about the schools system. There is another resource which is Center for Parent Information and Resources. If you don't know a certain thing, you could look it up or go online or call them and ask specific questions of what your child needs. And then there's a website called study.com, which you can access resources of any topic that you want to find, that you want to, look up at also. Sorry about that. Number 7 says explanation of how eligibility for special education services, determine including the cultural and the linguistics and all the appropriate measures what I find with Taylor, looking her, her, study, I found that with the evaluation, uh, with the parents' consent, that it would uh, individual individual evaluation is conducted by the teen's profession. Have a specific timeline, which is in 60 days, which includes the academic achievement tests, the functional performance and behavior observation, the parent input recommendation, teacher's recommendation and observation, physical conditions, social background, and adaptive behavior. The eligibility determinations student must be if one is if they have one or more um, learning disability, specific disabilities recognized, like for example, autism, learning disabilities, speech, or language impairment, which includes with the IDA that really specifies that. And number 8, what are the what resources that we can for parents can look up about concerned about their students, their child. And one is the U.S. Department of Educational and National Association for Education of Young Children, which is the NAEYC. So it's the U.S. Department of Education, and it's the National Association for the Educational of Young Children. So these are two recommendations and resources you could look up um, for your child's education and the rules and laws. Well, that is all that I have. Um, you have a good night and happy Thanksgiving. Bye bye.